look at their flaws. When you're winning football games, it masks all the little things you need to do as a football team. And also, I want to see how fast they start and if they have that swagger like they have in the past.
David, the Bucs were in the playoff hunt at 6-6. They have dropped 3 in a row. So what would a win in the finale mean for them?
And if you talk to Lovie Smith instantly, he said, we are looking to win this football game for our team. Why? Because this will be a measuring stick for this football team. To get this win, to build confidence for this football team headed into next season is everything that they need as a football team to become relevant in this division.
So the stage is set. The Buccaneers won the toss and they defer. And the Panthers will get the ball first. And back deep for the Carolina Panthers. Very versatile player bringing it out for the Carolina Panthers. And so the offense will go to work. Cam Newton. How about those numbers? And on his way to an MVP season, David.
He has been controlling this offense like a savvy vet, and you could see the turnaround from him as a quarterback. That 2-minute win in Seattle has propelled this football team, and he is the natural leader of this group.
And a great dual threat is Cam Newton, who will start from the 24. Hand off to Mike Tolbert, and Tolbert brings it out for a 5-yard gain. The Carolina offense, and they are starting 2 rookies at running back. Cameron Artis-Payne, a rookie from Auburn, at running back, and Devin Funchess starting. He's the second pick out of Michigan.
It all starts up front with this offensive line. They haven't switched. They haven't had the turnaround like they did last year with 8 different combinations. They've been the leaders.
And it's Tolbert again, and driving close to first down yardage. Jonathan Stewart missing his 3rd game out with the foot injury. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay defense. And, of course, Gerald McCoy. They need the pass rush today.
They need that pass rush and to the effect of the quarterback. And let's face it, this linebacking crew has not been the same with Quan Alexander. Bruce Carter has to have a big game.
They've lost 3 in a row without Alexander. It'll be 3rd down and 1. And Tolbert has been the lone running back.
Even gush.
And once again, it's Tolbert, and he has the first down. Heading for the Pro Bowl, Mike Tolbert, the jack of all trades, gets 3 yards.
Well, it's no coincidence that this Carolina Panthers football team is looking to establish the run immediately. This is the only team in the NFL that has more than 50% of their plays as runs. And Mike Tolbert, the human bowling ball, you better wrap him up because he will get those yards after contact every single time.
First down at the Carolina 36. First pass attempt. And it's going to Tolbert. Holds on, and Tolbert trying to spin away from defenders. Tough to bring down. And finally, free safety Bradley McDougald making the tackle after a 7-yard gain. So the key inactives today, as we mentioned, as we take a look at both teams, Vincent Jackson, the veteran wide receiver, Chris Conte, the safety, and Gosder Cherelis, the right tackle out. We mentioned Stewart. Ted Ginn also unable to play today. Ted Ginn on the sidelines. And there's the pass thrown out to Jericho Cotchery down the sideline. And Cotchery into Tampa Bay territory. Ridden out of bounds by Levante David, but a big gain so far. 20 yards for Newton and company.
This is a fast start that they wanted to have, but look at the block by number 10, Philly Brown, in the slot here. He opens this all up for Jericho Cotchery to get outside. Another block by Funchess. It takes everybody and all 11 on the field, and they're doing it right now.
Cameron Artis-Payne making his first NFL start is now at running back. Plenty of time and going deep, and the pass is incomplete. Corey Brown defended by Mike Jenkins. Jenkins starting along with Jonathan Banks at cornerback for the Buccaneers.
Right now, this Carolina offense is completely dictating the tempo of the football game. This is something that they lacked in the Atlanta game in the loss last week. So you see them immediately. They're coming up to the line of scrimmage, and Cam Newton is directing everything right away, and they're trying to keep this Tampa Bay defense on their heels.
Jenkins and Banks started the year at cornerback, lost their jobs, but now they're back in there. It'll be 2nd and 10 on the 37. And we have a whistle. Ron Rivera.
Carolina is challenging the rule of the field of an incomplete pass.
So Ron Rivera, who has been very successful on challenges this year, challenging this, saying that Brown had caught the ball for the touchdown and had control. We'll be right back.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency. No fares, nothing to hide.
Back here at Bank of America Stadium, Ron Rivera successful on challenges this season, but he won't be here, as it clearly shows that Corey Brown let the ball fall to the turf in the end zone.
After reviewing the play, the rule of the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete pass. Carolina is charged its first challenge and also a team timeout.
So a challenge goes by the boards for Rivera and a timeout charge to the Panthers.
In my 11 seasons playing, I've never heard a wide receiver say, I didn't catch the football, but this one is clear. You see on the review right there, ball is bobbled, hits the ground, incomplete pass.
Cam Newton taking a shot early here. It'll be 2nd down and 10 at the 37. Cameron Artis-Payne and Mike Tolbert are in the backfield, and the handoff is to Tolbert. He is carried early on here in this game, and just a couple of yards for Tolbert. And that will bring up 3rd down.
But what they're doing on these runs, they're allowing their offensive line to ease into this football game instead of dropping back. They're letting them own and dominate at the line of scrimmage currently, but they're also getting in 3rd and manageable downs.
So now 3rd and 6 at the 33. Artis-Payne, the 5th-round pick from Auburn, set in as a receiver here for Cam Newton, flushed out of the pocket, and his pass is caught. It'll be a 1st down. Greg Olsen, who else, who caught 10 passes a year ago against these teams. Well, the #1 seed is on the line in the NFC today. The Panthers need to win or a loss by Arizona to Seattle. The Cardinals need to beat Seattle and have the Panthers fall to Tampa Bay, and both games going on simultaneously. Ron Rivera won't be scoreboard watching, David, but we will.
And going back to that play, if you want to talk about a security blanket, a quarterback always goes to a tight end. But Greg Olsen, 25% of Cam Newton's career completions have gone to Greg Olsen.
From the 23, getting some time, and this pass is caught by Ed Dixon, a tight end for a minimum game. And you're talking about Greg Olsen. He has 31 more catches than the 2nd leading receiver, Ted Ginn, on this team.
And once again, it's because they have to play defensively against the Carolina Panthers offense. They've got to play defensive running. They've got to stuff the line of scrimmage. So what that does is they play basic zone coverages, and it plays right into the strengths of Greg Olsen.
2nd down and 9. Newton going to get sacked back at the 32-yard line by Levante David, his 3rd sack of the year, and a tremendous season. Started the year slowly, but has come on big. A loss of 10 yards for the Panthers.
You see both linebackers standing up in the A-gap, and they weren't fooled by this play action. They knew Cam Newton had that ball the entire way. The offensive line wasn't able to squeeze. You see the running backs going out into the coverages and trying to get open balls, but they were able to get pressure and affect Cam Newton to get the sack.
This is the 11th play of the drive. It'll be 3rd down and 19. Notice the Buccaneers coming up to the line. And here comes the blitz on Newton, and he's going to be sacked again. The 2nd straight sack, this time by Keith Tandy, starting at strong safety once again for Chris Conte. And off a terrific game last week, and another 10-yard loss.
Well, Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator, and Lovie Smith, once again going to the double mug, the 2 linebackers in the A-gap. They are being aggressive. You see them picked up this time by the offensive line, but this time Keith Tandy able to come right down the bow of the quarterback, come up with another big sack, and force the punt.
Had a career-high 10 tackles against the Bears in the losing cause last week. Brad Nortman will be punting, and Bobby Rainey calls for the fair catch at the 16. So with those sacks, the Buccaneers get the Panthers out of field goal range. But now it's the Jameis Winston show when we come back and the Bucs go on offense.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL.
Pleasant day here in Charlotte. Temperatures in the 50s as we start. Cam Newton, 4 of 5. But now it's Jameis Winston with a first down on his 17-yard line, and Doug Martin with the carry. Jameis Winston. Talk about Cam Newton for MVP, Rookie of the Year candidate Winston with 3,700 passing yards.
And he came in as one of the smartest quarterbacks to ever come into the NFL out of college.
Javorsky Lane, the fullback, is hurt. We're going to take a break, and we've got a lot more to talk about with Jameis Winston. The look on head coach Lovie Smith's face tells it all. Javorsky Lane still on the field and will be put on the cart, and we will not be able to show you that injury.
This is a devastating loss to this Tampa Bay offense today, but not only because of what he's going to mean for this game, but what he's meant to this offense all season. There's no coincidence that Doug Martin has been in the race for that NFC rushing and NFL rushing title, and it started with Javorsky Lane, his ability to eat up and hit linebackers at right down the bow, right in the hole, and it's always sad to see somebody get hurt like this at the last game of the season.
While they work on Javorsky Lane, we're going to send it out to Los Angeles for a game break. Here's Mike Hill.
Yeah, Chiefs with a chance to...
Thank you, Mike. And players from both teams feel this. And, you know, David, you've been on the field when this happens. What, you know, your stomach has to be torn up.
Yeah, and you saw all the offensive linemen were the first ones over there because of fullback. He's an extension from an offensive line. He's cut from the same cloth, and this is very tough for this team, and especially for Javorsky Lane to have it happen in the last game of the season.
Looking at some of the offensive linemen, the 11-year veteran Logan Mankins, who anchors this team that has 2 rookies on the offensive line. And you don't see many fullbacks still in the NFL, but both of these teams, with Tolbert with the Panthers and Javorsky Lane with the Buccaneers, use the fullback to a great extent. And now, look at the Panthers getting the crowd in to applaud and salute the injured Javorsky Lane.
And you know, if anybody who we saw walking over to give this reaction is Thomas Davis Sr. This is a player who's fought through adversity 3 times with 3 ACL injuries. And to see his response and his reaction goes to show that you may be warriors out here on the football field, but you are all part of the same fraternity, and it affects all of us.
So now we're back to play. It'll be 2nd down and 7 at the 20. Here's Doug Martin, and he's tripped up. Good play made in the backfield by Trey Boston, the free safety, starting for the injured Kurt Coleman today. Coleman leading his team with 7 picks, but Trey Boston in his 2nd year makes a good play and a loss of 2 yards.
Great play getting on the other side of the line of scrimmage immediately. He was unblocked, unaccounted for. Nice start to get a tackle for a loss to back up this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense and now put them in another situation that they do not want to be in, that they've struggled all season, these 3rd and longs.
Lately, they really have been down on 3rd downs. It's 3rd down and 9. Dante Dye to the bottom of your picture. 4 wide receivers for Winston. He has some time, and he completes the pass to Dante Dye and a first down. So the undrafted rookie out of Heidelberg in Ohio picks up 13 yards and moves the chains.
Nice combination by Dirk Cutter. We saw Adam Humphries running the out. You see Trey Boston having to jump over the top, which opens up that seam and that hole in that zone that they were playing. And nice delivery by Jameis Winston.
Kevin Pamphile, a tackle, comes in most of the year, part of the heavy package, an extra offensive lineman. It'll be a first down. Play action for Winston. Again with time, goes to Doug Martin as a receiver, and Martin picks up about 7 yards. Thomas Davis on the tackle. Let's check in again with Mike Hill for a game break.
I know you guys interested in this game. Seattle, Arizona. Bryce Brown into the end zone for Seattle. Cards down 7-0, and if they lose, the Panthers are the #1 seed regardless of what happens.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. Of course, Ron Rivera didn't want the score posted here, didn't want any highlights on the scoreboard. It'll be 2nd and 3 right now for the Bucs on their 38.
They've gone jumbo. Kevin Pamphile, the backup tackle, in that tight end.
And here is Martin, and he gets the first down. We'll see where they spot the ball. It appears that he makes it. Doug Martin, who trails Adrian Peterson by 64 yards for the NFL rushing title. Of course, Peterson playing later against the Green Bay Packers.
And they ran it right to that side where Kevin Pamphile, that jumbo tight end, is. Ran right behind him and the right tackle, DeMar Dotson, to be able to convert and get the first.
So the Buccaneers have turned the ball over in the last few games, have not converted third downs, but they did here, and a first down on the 41. Here's the pitch to Martin. Martin getting some room and gets out to the 46-yard line. Tillman making the tackle. So let's check the lineups for the Tampa Bay offense. Mike Evans, without Vincent Jackson, has a heavy burden today.
He does. He's going to be drawing Josh Norman, and he has to make plays for this offense. But this offensive line with the 2 rookies, Donovan Smith at left tackle and the rookie right guard, Ali Marpet. Marpet's going to be challenged going up against Quan Short, number 99, the defensive tackle for the Panthers.
2nd down and 5, and here is Martin. And Martin is stopped there for a couple of yards. Carolina with the 5th best rushing defense, 2nd best scoring defense, but they've given up 30 or more points in 2 of their last 4 games.
Quan Short, 11 sacks by a defensive tackle, tied for most in the NFL. But this defense is led by those 2 linebackers, Luke Kuechly and Thomas Davis. And then on the backside, we're going to have to watch Trey Boston, who's coming in for Kirk Coleman.
And Boston already has contributed. There's Kuechly. 3rd down and 4 at the 47, and Winston's pass is incomplete, intended for Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Cortland Finnegan, the veteran who recently joined the Panthers, was defending on the play. So finally, the Panthers halt the drive by the Bucs, who have to kick.
Cortland Finnegan has been a nice addition. He was signed to this team when Charles Tillman was out with that hyperextended knee, but he's seen this one before. He's able to get down. They weren't going to be able to convert for the 3rd, but you have to catch that ball, Austin Seferian-Jenkins. There's no excuse.
Robert McLean is back deep as Jacob Shum kicks it, and the fair catch called for by McLean, the former Falcon. So Cam Newton, who was 4 for 5 for 38 yards, tried a shot that didn't work. Will be coming back out. When we say dual threat, we mean it. Look at Cam Newton's combined career passing and rushing yards, the most in the first 5 seasons all time.
He is a quarterback that forces defense to play 11-on-11 football because you have to be aware of him being able to tuck that ball away and running with it if pass protection doesn't hold up.
Starting from the 19 and the first carry of the game for Cameron Artis-Payne, and he gets a yard.
Well, their defense for the Buccaneers are being aggressive. They're coming after with the blitz. This was the 2nd down sack in the zone. But you see now the offensive line squeezed down, but the combination of Tolbert and Olsen aren't able to pick up the blitz. They let the one down the middle free, and Olsen's blocking and helping the right tackle with the defensive end coming off of the edge as well.
So how do they figure that out now?
Well, they have to communicate better at the line of scrimmage to make sure they shore it up to give Cam Newton the time he needs.
It'll be 2nd down and 9 from the 20. Hotry was going in motion to the left and pressure again, but the pass is caught by Devin Funchess, and Funchess on the catch and run gets a first down out to the 37-yard line, an 18-yard pick So the first career start was in week 10 for Funchess, the second-round pick from Michigan.
The play action, I said they have to be protective. You see Bruce Carter get into the backfield, step up, that allows Devin Funchess to get behind him to get that shallow cross and get a nice big gain for a first down.
So you saw the two rookies who were starting, Funchess and Artis Payne, the last two plays. And a first down at the 38. Good protection there, and incomplete. And going downfield was Danny Lansana to defend against the pass to the tight end, Ed Dixon.
Great job of containing inside leverage, turning around and being able to get his eyes on the football. A lot of times, linebackers, when they're trailing in that position, draw that pass interference call because they're not able to turn around, and they ended up making that contact on those tight ends. So nice play by Lansana.
You said it was good. You get the loss out of your way as you look at the play selection. Dave Vonstead and Fox NFL Kickoff said as long as the one loss doesn't become two, that's the key. Second down and 10. Pass caught by Funchess, short of the first down by 2 yards. And
looks like that ball came out.
Yeah, and there's a scramble for it. You know, one thing that the Tampa Bay defense has been relying on in their victories have been takeaways.
Judging it from up here, it looked like it came out early.
And the Buccaneers recover. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, only one takeaway in the last 5 games, pick up the loose ball.
The ruling on the field
Who else?
is a fumble
By Levante David recovers the
fumble.
fumble, and of course all turnovers are reviewed, and this one will be as well.
Judaje Barima, who's been one of those corners who stepped in, who's in that rotation. You see him coming back to it, and right there he's coming for the tackle, but then from the inside, Verner is the one that's able to get his hand on that football before he's able to get down. That's a live football.
Buccaneers thrived on takeaways when they were 6-6. We're going to take a break right now to see if that turnover is confirmed. And when we see the replay, Funchess did have the ball come out before his knee hit the ground, hit by Alteron Verner and recovered by Levante David. So it's a first down on the 45 of the Panthers for the Buccaneers. Then they take advantage of this opportunity with 3:06 to go in the first quarter. Play action. Here comes pressure and the screen pass to Doug Martin. And Martin will have the first down and more and knocked out of bounds near the 25-yard line.
Well, this is definitely not the start that the Panthers offense wanted to have. They had the 2 sacks in the first one, and then in the first series and in the second series to have a turnover. They're giving this Tampa Bay team life, and they're giving it to them right away to start this football game. So even though they wanted to start fast, there's a little hangover from that Atlanta Falcons game.
You're going to be a little concerned. Joe Hawley with a good block and a 20-yard play and a first down on the 25, and they go out to Dante Dye, and Finnegan is right there. Good play by Finnegan. They try to get the speedster Dye out there, and a loss of 1 yard. Finnegan starred with the Titans, played some with the Dolphins. 10th year in the league. Second down and 11. And here is Martin again. Martin getting to the 21. And that'll bring up third down.
See Jameis Winston running this group right at the line of scrimmage. It's a no huddle, but it's not a up-tempo, fast no huddle. They were just getting to the line of scrimmage, trying to evaluate the looks that the defense were going to give them. But now third down, here they go. They huddle up, and they're hoping that they can convert and keep this drive alive, because you want to get points off of that takeaway your defense just gave you.
Winston's numbers so far. Trying to get something out of this, and here's a pass, and it's overthrown Russell Shepard. And that will bring up fourth down. And the field goal team coming on. Connor Barth will enter for the Buccaneers.
Russell Shepard had a step on Charles Tillman. That one was over his head. Uncatchable football, and You know, that's something that we haven't seen in the past. Jameis Winston has shown that accuracy on those deep balls to that left sideline, and that one sailed.
This will be a 39-yard attempt. Connor Barth has missed 3 of his last 8. Missed one against the Bears last week. Trying to break the scoreless tie. And Connor Barth with the field goal, and the Buccaneers taking advantage of the Carolina fumble, taking a 3-0 lead with 1:28 to go. Well, television history will be made January 17th when the first ever UFC title bout comes to FS1. Bantamweight champ TJ Dillashaw looks to defend his belt against former champ and top-ranked contender Dominique Cruz, plus former world champ Anthony Pettis takes on Eddie Alvarez Sunday, January 17th, only on FS1.
You know, Ron Rivera talked about getting back to the football team personality of the Panthers, having that swagger, playing fast, playing with confidence. And he said we need to bring life immediately to this game to try giving that doubt to the Buccaneers, but they haven't done it so far. Allowed the 2 sacks in Tampa Bay territory in the opening drive, following it up with the fumble and a return. So the drop ball by Philly Brown in the end zone. They've had their opportunities, but you have to give a lot of credit for the way that the Buccaneers have come in here with an attitude that they're going to come out fighting.
Brandon Wager and Joe Webb are back in the end zone, so Panthers trying to prove that the loss to the Falcons last week was an aberration, and they got something to prove. Joe Webb on the return for the second time gets hit and will be brought down at the 22. You got to be a little nervous if you're the Panthers coming into this game before the playoffs. You don't want to come in with 2 losses, especially in divisional play.
And like I said, for this Buccaneers team, they're using this as a measuring stick, because if you look on the other side of the ball, the Carolina Panthers were 3-8-1 before their final 4 games before getting into the playoffs. And look at that confidence that they build, getting a playoff win and starting the season with the 14 in a row like they had.
They're living proof that when you finish strong, even if you don't necessarily go far in postseason, it can carry over. First down at the 23. Cameron Artis-Payne, 2 yards, rookie from Auburn, 5th-round pick. And for a game break, let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, Kansas City trying to win its 10th straight. Spencer Ware with a 3-yard touchdown against Oakland. They're up 14-0 right now. If Kansas City wins and Denver loses, the Chiefs win the AFC West. And right now, Denver is holding on to a 7-3 lead in San Diego, Dick.
Thank you, Kurt. Meanwhile, 2nd down and 8. And Newton completes the pass to Corey Brown, and Brown breaking a couple of tackles close to midfield, picking up 27 yards before the linebacker Levante David takes him down, and a flag is back down on the 22.
While the quarterback was still in the pocket, holding. Defense, number 94. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is a first down.
George Johnson was holding.
He's trying to get that release. You see him trying not to let out of the backfield, and right away, Cameron Artis-Payne, you see the jersey tuck. He was affected. That's a way a defensive end tries slowing you down when he's trying to get out in coverage.
Now from the 46, and the slant pass complete to Brown, and Brown gets inside the 40 before McDougal brings him down. So Cam Newton awfully sharp to start this game, has completed 7 out of 9. That good for 18 yards.
This is something that they've struggled all season against. The Buccaneers corners and defensive backs play head up to outside leverage, so they've been beaten all year on the inside slants.
Final seconds of the first quarter, and a first down at the 37-yard line of Tampa Bay. And this pass will also be caught by Funchess. Another first down as time runs out. Funchess with a 13-yard pickup, and that's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Bucs 3, Panthers nothing. America's Game of the Week will return after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Back here, start of the second quarter, and you can see Carolina's had the ball 3 more minutes. But, David, what are the Panthers doing now that they couldn't do when he was under siege, Cam Newton, in the first quarter?
Well, in that first series and in that first drive of the game, they had longer developing routes. What they're doing now are they're going to quick hitters and slants, so Cam Newton can get that ball out of his hands, and they're not affected by the blitz of the Buccaneers.
First down at the 24, and movement in the line, and a flag is down. See if Gerald McCoy.
They got him. Nice hard count by Cam Newton.
Encroachment. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So a 5-yard penalty marched off against the Buccaneers. It'll be 1st and 5 now at the 19. Dick Stockton, David Deal, Christina Pink here at Bank of America Stadium. Panthers threatening. That's the story as far as the #1 seed in the conference goes. Artis Payne off the right side. And Bruce Carter and Danny Lansana combined to make the play.
Cam Newton using that voice inflection with the hard counts because this Tampa Bay up front, the 4 want to get vertical. They're one gap. They want to play the run on the way to the quarterback.
And another injury, Danny Lansana is shaken up. And David mentioned the fact that Quan Alexander, serving a suspension, is missing, and that has hurt the team. And now Lansana is injured.
Today's game is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Un-carrier. And by Taco Bell's Crunch Wrap Sliders. 4 full-size flavors, just $1 each.
Back here in Charlotte, Danny Lansana came out of the game, and the Buccaneers going with 5 defensive backs and 2 linebackers here with 2nd down and 3 from the 17. And it's going to be a keeper, kind of a read option for Cam Newton, but stopped in his tracks by defensive end William Golston.
Here's a replay. You see Lansana coming in for the tackle, trying to break down, but his right cleat gets stuck in the ground, and you saw the way that he was bent over, that knee went outside, and sitting right there talking to the medical staff, trying to figure out exactly what's wrong and if he can come back.
So Lansana injured, and of course Jaworski Lane taken off the field early. Josh Keys now goes back on the field at strong side backer, replacing Lansana. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Tolbert, 1st down, and moving the pile. And really, the guy who was moving was Keith Tandy. Moved him a couple of yards, and it'll be 1st and goal coming up inside the 10 for Carolina. Gain of 9.
Great opening by Andrew Norwell and Michael Orr at that left side. They get things going with the double team. They get up to the 2nd level, but I told you, you better bring a punch when you're coming to hit Mike Tolbert because he's lower body strength, his size. He will dominate you with the yards after contact.
Well, he pushed back Tandy, and here is a pass attempt, and it's caught by Olsen. And Olsen has stopped a yard shy of the 1st down, or the touchdown. William Golston putting some pressure on. They get 6 yards on the play, and they're actually inside the 1 at this point.
Number 60 is an eligible receiver.
Darrell Williams, a tackle, is an eligible receiver. Another man on the line, rookie from Oklahoma. The red zone story for Cam Newton.
Look out for Powell.
And here comes Cam Newton going into the end zone. Touchdown, Carolina. That's when you talk about 11 men on offense you have to cover, and Cam Newton with a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Panthers take the lead. And a souvenir.
When the Carolina Panthers go heavy formations or jumbo, they run 3 things. They run power, they run zone, and they run boot. They pulled the backside guard. You see everyone on the defense start fighting down to get those gap discipline, and sure enough, Cam Newton takes it outside.
And the show by Newton after the touchdown is worth the price of admission. Graham Gano with the extra point. And the kick is good. And the Panthers lead it by a score of 7-3. 9th rushing touchdown this year for Cam Newton, giving the Panthers the lead early in the second.
I think this is something that a lot of Carolina Panthers fans of teams have seen. Cam Newton celebrating after his touchdown run. Ballin'.
Always novel. Well, there's a scoring drive. The big play was the 22-yard pass to Funchess. 9 plays, 77 yards, and Carolina leads 7-3. Seattle is leading Arizona 10-6 in their game out in Glendale. And this kick to Bobby Rainey will be down. It'll be a touchback for the Bucs.
Well, a lot has been made of the Carolina Panthers celebration this season, and everybody's saying act like you've been there. Number one, I had 3 games last season where they were doing the same exact thing, but it's magnified when you're an undefeated football team. And if you don't like it, stop them. Keep them out of the end zone and don't give them anything to celebrate for.
It's as simple as that. If you don't like it, stop them. And the most rushing touchdown since 1960, one behind Steve Young, the great 49er lefty. Meanwhile, first down at the 20 for Jameis Winston. And here's Doug Martin, gets tripped up. And a good play made by Jared Allen. Time for a game break. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee.
All right, if Arizona loses, Carolina gets the number 1 seed regardless. Larry Fitzgerald's 17-yard score makes it a little bit closer, but they're still down against Seattle in the second quarter. Dick and David.
All right, Kurt. Well, Ron Rivera not paying attention, but we are. It'll be second down and 9. Winston. Incomplete. Dante Dye was the closest receiver in the neighborhood. These teams met in week 4, and the Panthers won 37-23. And in that game, Tampa Bay turned it over 5 times. And Winston threw 4 interceptions and lost a fumble. Third down and 9.
Now the Carolina linebackers are going to the double nug, standing up over the A-gap.
Here comes the safety blitz, and this pass overthrown. Cortland Finnegan was blitzing from the secondary, and Winston had to let go of it in a hurry. Dye was the intended receiver, so the Panthers defense holds, and it's fourth down.
This is a defense that makes you expect that you are going to get threatened positions and sacks to the quarterback by everybody on the field. They've had 42 sacks this season by 15 different players on the defense.
McClain goes back deep. Looks like a light went on when Tampa Bay got that field goal, and the Panthers have been on a surge since then. Jacob Shum kicking to McClain. And a fair catch by McClain at the 40. So the Panthers will have good field position. And we'll get the ball back. And that Tampa Bay defense been on the field a while, have to come back when we come back.
Today's game is sponsored by Ford. We go further so you can.
And the playoff picture in the NFC, we know the 6 teams. We don't know what order they're going to be in. Right now, the Cardinals are trailing 10-6. Panthers, of course, you know, if the Cardinals lose, the Panthers have the number 1 seed no matter. And of course, the Packers and the Vikings play tonight. Redskins won. They're situated as the number 4 seed. And that is the story, with still some juggling possibilities in the NFC.
But if you're the Carolina Panthers, don't rely on anyone else. Take care of business yourself. Build the confidence for your football team heading into the postseason and earn and deserve that right to get that home field advantage.
How about Cam Newton? 10 of 12 so far. And a first down at the 40-yard line. Play action for Newton. Getting some pressure, and down he goes. Bruce Carter, who had to fill in for Quan Alexander, who was having a tremendous year, but Carter, the former Dallas Cowboy, with his second sack of the season and a 12-yard loss for the Panthers.
Well, they're being aggressive. You see Bruce Carter out here on the outside. He's waiting. He lets things clear. He sees that Remmers goes to help the tight end, and he adds on to the blitz. He wanted to be patient to let that seam open up. Sure enough, like all offensive tackles, go to help out their tight end and comes up with another big sack for this defense.
Third for the Panthers for 32 yards. Second down and 22. And once again, Newton under pressure, getting away, and on the run, fires, it's tipped, and it's caught by Funchess. Funchess inside the 40-yard line. Stumbles his way to the 30. The deflection off the hands of Bradley McDougald, but Funchess in the right place at the right time, and the Panthers get 41 yards and a first down.
William Ghostin had a pressure earlier in this game, wasn't able to come up with it, and he has another one. You see Mike Tolbert releasing on the outside. Remmers thinks that he's going to get a chip. He doesn't get the chip, but Cam Newton, once again, using his legs, being able to get outside the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and Funchess staying alive.
Escape in plain sight that time for Cam Newton, and he's going to go deep for Funchess this time. And the pass is incomplete. Jonathan Banks on the coverage, and it'll be second down. Wow.
This game's getting very exciting. And this is what we've built up for. We knew that it was going to be this type of football game. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing for their future and their pride, and everybody knows what the Panthers are playing for. And added in, this is a division rival game. These are two games and two teams that do not like each other.
Second and 10. The Bucs actually could be following in the footsteps of what the Panthers have done in the last couple of years from the 31-yard line. And here is Tolbert, and Tolbert barely gets back to the line of scrimmage where Gerald McCoy stops him. No gain. Let's send it down to Christina Pink.
Dick, the Bucs are still playing without linebacker Danny Lansana. He remains sidelined with a hamstring injury. The Bucs training staff tried stretching it out. He is currently icing it on the training table. His return is doubtful.
All right, Christina, thank you very much. And it's been Josh Keys, rookie from Boston College, but now Altaron Berna comes in as a fifth defensive back for Tampa Bay. Third down and 10.
Showing blitz. They all drop.
Picked up nicely. And the pass, and that's going to be caught by Corey Brown, and it'll be a first down inside the 20. An 11-yard gain. Corey Brown got free, and you can see some of the greatness that we're seeing from Cam Newton.
Much better job by the offensive line communicating, identifying who they have, and what do you want to do as an offense? Kill the blitz.
And getting to the line of scrimmage in a hurry are the Panthers. A first down on the 19. And a challenge flag has been thrown by Lovie Smith. First challenge of the game thrown by Tampa Bay.
And that's why Greg Olsen and Cam Newton were going crazy. They were trying to get to the ball and line up and snap it before they could throw the flag.
Challenging the middle of the field of a completed catch.
Here's the replay. Hits the ground again. That's his second one for Philly Brown.
So the first challenge by Ron Rivera on the pass into the end zone clearly dropped. And so the Panthers lost a timeout and a challenge, but this one looks like Lovie Smith is going to win this one.
And that's why Greg Olsen and Cam Newton were yelling. You could see Cam Newton almost wanted to pick up Jerome Berger, the referee, and move him out of the way so he could snap the ball.
Well, we'll see if there's enough evidence to change this call, because it is close. You see the ball, hitting the ground, so that should go as an incomplete pass. Meanwhile, Seattle has extended their lead over Arizona to 17-6 with 6 minutes to go in the first half out in Arizona.
Seattle has been a dangerous team, and Russell Wilson is playing better, if not as good, as any quarterback right now in the NFL.
You know, they're going to be a wild card. They could be a 6 seed. You know what that's like.
I sure do. Both of the times that we won the Super Bowl, we were wild card, and it's all about getting in the dance. Records don't matter. You get in, and you have your opportunity to get into the Super Bowl, and this is a time like this Seattle team. They're building their confidence. They're getting healthy at the perfect time for them. We've
got Mike Pereira out in Los Angeles. Let's bring Mike in. Mike, your thoughts on what that pass was like?
Well, I'll tell you what it does, Dick. It goes right through his hands, and it actually, or through his arms, and then hits the ground. So he didn't have control first. So to me, you'll go back and look at this, and then they'll reverse it. Here's the issue. It goes through his arms, and you see it from this side in the back. So to me, it will be reversed to an incomplete pass. 2nd and 10 is what I'll go back to, and here's the shot. Watch it. He's got to get control here before it hits the ground, but he doesn't. So incomplete pass, and they'll reset the clock, by the way. They'll reset the clock to right about 9:34 when the ball first hit the ground.
Mike, thank you very much. It's interesting, David, that Corey Brown was involved on both challenges here in the first half.
And they both were dropped and looked the exact same when you look at the replay.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is reversed to an incomplete pass. The ball touched the ground. It will be 4th down at the 32.5 yard line. Tampa Bay is not charged a timeout. Please reset the game clock to 9 minutes, 34 seconds.
There's replay
9:34 in the game clock.
Just like Mike Pereira said, and just like we saw in the drop touchdown pass by Philly Brown.
So Graham Gano will come out and try a 50-yard field goal, but you were right about how fast the Panthers were trying to get that play off before the flag came out. 50-yard attempt for Graham Gano. He has had 4 kicks blocked this year. So of his 6 misses, 4 have been blocked. His longest success has been from 52 yards. Mike mentioned they had to make sure they got the clock right, which is 9:34, just as Mike Pereira had indicated. Now we're set for the field goal try. With the 50-yard field goal, giving the Panthers a 10-3 lead. They have had the ball for nearly 29 minutes to only 7 for Tampa Bay. That defense has been on the field a long time in this half. The Art Rooney Sportsmanship Award, named for the beloved founding owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers, honors players who show outstanding sportsmanship on the field. Each team nominates 1 player, and in December, a panel of NFL legends narrow the list to 8 finalists, with a winner voted on by current players announced at the NFL Honors Awards show February 6th. Carolina's Luke Kuechly is one of the finalists this year and one of the league's top linebackers who is also highly respected by his peers. And Art Rooney, a gentleman I know, was the patriarch of the Steelers, his son Dan, and now the grandson of Art Rooney Sr. Art is the president of the team, and what great success they have had.
And it's great to see a player who is as humble as Luke Kuechly after all of the success that he's had as an NFL starting linebacker.
Bobby Rainey will let that one be caught for the touchback. And officially, that field goal by Gano was 49 yards. But Carolina, whether it's 49 or 50, will take the 1 touchdown lead with 9:29 to go in the first half. And we'll see what the Bucs do on offense.
Well, starting off on 1st and 2nd down, they've got to have more production and try to stay ahead of the chains, because when they're now in 3rd and 9 like they have been in these last 3 games, they've only converted 10 of 29, and that's why they're getting dominated with time of possession.
Not good enough. Charles Sims is in at running back. Good receiver as well as a good rusher. Play action for Winston. And Winston's pass overthrown Mike Evans the first time he's been targeted today. Time for a game break. Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
All right, Seattle playing very well today against Arizona, trying to end the Cardinals' 9-game win streak. Fullback Will Tukuafu with his first catch of the year. He's good for a touchdown, the 17-6 lead over the Cardinals. Dick and David?
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. And, of course, it's still early, but you wonder if word does get down to Ron Rivera that maybe he won't have to play his starters the entire game if things look good, but we're away from that. Second down and 10. Another play action. And Winston going on top, and it's caught by Mike Evans. And Evans out of bounds near midfield by Charles Tillman. And a gain of 27 yards. That's the biggest play from scrimmage so far for the Bucs.
He's been targeted in back-to-back plays. We're going to see him. Josh Norman is trailing. He drops off because it's a zone. That defense and the linebackers step up with that little bit of play action. But this is something that you need to see out of Mike Evans and out of this offense. Evans comes into this game with 11 drops, most in the NFL. He needs to have a big game to open things up for him.
No question, but he has 1,000 yards for the second year in a row. Once again, play action for Winston, and Winston's pass is going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Thomas Davis, and Thomas Davis returns it to Tampa Bay territory.
Well, they were fooled the play before on play action. This time they were not. They didn't step up at all. They see the routes, the crossing pattern. They drop back right into coverage. Another big interception. It's Thomas Davis right here. You see the little bit of it. They show the play action. Linebackers are dropping back. They're not fooled. Sits right into the zone coverage of exactly where he needs to be. He had over-the-top help. Luke Kuechly also seeing the ball thrown. Key interception and a key takeaway for this defense.
And the fourth interception of the year for Davis, and with 37 takeaways, the Panthers leading the league in that department. Adam Humphries was the intended receiver, and now at the 46 of Tampa Bay, the handoff is to Cameron Artis-Payne, and Bruce Carter is there quickly.
There you go. Cam Newton's not the only one handing balls to fans in celebration. I hope that's his family. You see them all wearing Thomas Davis Sr. jerseys, and what an exciting time. He's the only player this season in the NFL with 5+ sacks and 4 interceptions.
And last year, honored as the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. This year, his first Pro Bowl. Corey Brown going into the backfield. And Cam Newton trying to find an open receiver on second down and 7, and he's got the running back Artis-Payne. Here is Payne inside the 40. Payne with a first down to the 31-yard line. Good ad-lib by Cam Newton and the offense. They pick up 12 yards, and the Panthers marching again.
That ad-lib couldn't have happened if he didn't have the time and protection like he had by his offensive line. They're stout up front. They give him all day to read this coverage. There's nobody open. It was about to be a coverage sack. He's able to free away from him and still deliver and get the first down that he needed.
On the 31. And here's Artis-Payne again on the pitch. Picks up 1. Wind down to 7 minutes to go in the first half. The Panthers already have won their 3rd consecutive NFC South title, and Cameron Artis-Payne so far in this game went to Auburn. Before that was at junior college at Allen Hancock College in California, where he scored 43 touchdowns, and Jonathan Stewart sitting out his 3rd straight game. Second and 9. Quick play, caught at the 20 by Brenton Burson in his second year from owner Jerry Richardson's alma mater, Wofford College in South Carolina.
One thing that you need to be impressed about is not only his running ability, but look at this block Cameron Artis-Payne makes. He reads the blitz, comes over, is able to get over and get on Werner so that he's delivering the ball in the proper time. That's the one thing that you love to see about young running backs. If you cannot block, you're not going to be out on the field. Nice job adjusting and reading.
Boy, protection and blocking so key. An 8-yard gain. It'll be 3rd down and 1 now at the 22.
Easy, Jackie.
Quarterback sneak, first down for Cam Newton. They had the unbalanced line, which they use so often. And a first down for the Panthers.
Now this is something that you've got to respect. Look at Cam Newton. He's one-on-one against Henry Melton, a defensive tackle. Melton has leverage. He's underneath him. Cam Newton is still able to drive his legs and still get that first. Look at, it's one-on-one.
Meanwhile, the Seattle Seahawks have opened up a 24-6 lead over Arizona. All of this may be moot. Who knows? Handoff to Cameron Artis-Payne. And Payne trying to drive to the first down will be shy by a couple of yards as David and Tandy stop Payne after he picks up 8 yards. So without Stewart and Fozzie Whitaker, by the way, it's Cameron Artis-Payne, 5th-round pick from Auburn, leading the charge.
Second and 2 at the Bucs 12-yard line.
Remember, the Panthers clinch home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs with a win or a tie or a Cardinal loss or a tie. Right now the Cardinals are getting beaten 24-6. Second down and 2.
Hey, even Pittsburgh.
Artis-Payne, first down, touchdown! An 11-yard touchdown run in his first NFL start by Cameron Artis-Payne. First NFL touchdown for the rookie from Auburn.
And that play was all by Cam Newton, adjusting, checking it at the line of scrimmage, and putting them in exactly what they needed to score that touchdown.
Given the ball from another Auburn player, and the extra point by Graham Gano. And the Carolina Panthers, stung by the early field goal by the Buccaneers, have stormed back with 17 unanswered points and lead it 17-3.
Let's go back to that touchdown play. You hear him check, puts him in the right position. Andrew Norwell, the left guard, pulls around, seals right at the point of attack. Cameron Artis-Payne, patient enough to let his offensive guard get there. And once you see it, go fast through it. And that's what he did.
And there'd be no better recipe for the Carolina Panthers, David, than to do what they're doing right now. And that is opening up a good lead here in this first half and taking a lot of mystery out of the game. But we still have 4:17 remaining in the first half. Bobby Rainey back deep. And the Buccaneers will take it out at the 20-yard line. Well, David, a little tenuous early when Tampa Bay really played well early, and then all of a sudden the Carolina Panthers dominating ball control, looking awfully sharp on both sides.
They most certainly are. They've taken that energy and that juice back. You've seen the defense playing a lot more aggressive, but also what did they get defensively? A takeaway. This team lives and dies by takeaways. If you look back at the Atlanta game, that's one of only 2 games this season where they only had 1 and they didn't have 2+.
And Thomas Davis with the interception. Kevin Pamphile is an extra offensive lineman, and the handoff to Doug Martin. Martin getting a couple of yards. Well, the new Fox Tuesday is comedy's biggest night. Catch brand new episodes of New Girl, Grandfathered, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Grinder. It kicks off this Tuesday right here on Fox. Second down and 8. 3:45 to go. The pitch to Martin, trapped in the backfield by Jared Allen. And Allen, the former Bear, who came to the Panthers in time for Week 4 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, knocks the loss on the play of 4 yards for Martin.
Anytime you try running those tosses or pitches, that tight end has to set the edge. That time, tight end's unable to block Jared Allen. He gets the penetration, forces it back inside for Doug Martin with nowhere to go.
Martin, who has 11 yards on 9 carries, goes out. Charles Sims in as a receiver flanked to the bottom of your picture. 3rd down and 14. And the pass to Luke Stocker, the tight end, gets to the 20, but well short of the first down, and the Buccaneers will have to kick it away.
I circled there again, double mug. What that does is when you have those 2 linebackers on the interior, it forces you as an offensive line to respect them. You see all the communication by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trying to point them out. And what it does is it disrupts you, even if you're running a screen in that 3rd down, because it makes you account for both of them and it changes up your protection scheme.
And Thomas Davis went back in pass coverage instead of blitzing. And this is an energized defensive team, something that they have lapsed so far. But Jameis Winston, who is 6 for 12 so far for 71 yards, has had a terrific day today. And talk about making an impression. Winston is, as he passes Peyton Manning for most passing yards by a rookie quarterback all time.
And the one thing that there is not in Tampa Bay anymore is a controversy of who the quarterback will be. He is the franchise guy, and now they have to get pieces around him, but also on the defensive side of the ball, so that next season they challenge for this division.
Carolina calling the timeout, has 1 left, and 4th down, Shum will be punting, and Robert McClain running up and fields it and is down at the 49 of Tampa Bay by Evan Spencer. So now good field position with 2:43 remaining in the first half. The Seahawks went to Arizona on a mission, apparently, David. 30-6, still in the 2nd quarter. The route is on against the Cardinals.
Like I said, more importantly, as the Carolina Panther team right now, take care of your own business, build the confidence as a team, and then in the second half, if you continue to get this type of lead, then you can worry about what starters you may rest.
First down at the 49 of the Bucs. Here's Tolbert trying to go outside, and he'll get about a yard. And you're absolutely right. You can win by backing in, but you rather win by earning it with the win. Let's send it down to Christina.
Well, they certainly would like to win by earning it, but Seattle is currently up 30-6, and Ron Rivera wanted no part of any score updates during this game. Didn't want it on the Jumbotron, no highlights, no score. Certainly haven't seen it today, but I'm sure the fans are probably checking elsewhere.
Thank you, Christina. And Tolbert breaking from the line of scrimmage, and another big run to the 31-yard line, getting 18 yards. And the Panthers are looking like the team that started out 14-0.
That's doing a good job of taking advantage of them getting vertical in the backfield and bouncing it backside with no gap discipline.
2-minute warning here at Bank of America Stadium. Get apps, videos, and more at iTunes.com/NFL. Two minutes remaining in the first half here in Charlotte, where the Panthers leading 17-3 and threatening. They have a first down on the 31 of the Bucs. And going deep into the end zone, Jericho Cotchery, touchdown! .31 yards. Little runner in the NBA.
When you have efficiency in the run game and a quarterback like Cam Newton that allows play action shots to be had, Jericho Cotchery, the veteran leader of this wide receiver corps, comes up with a big play.
And the defense set that all up. They got good field position, and they went 49 yards. They started in Buccaneer territory. Took less than a minute to get the touchdown. Graham Gano looking to add the 24th point. And flags fly.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
Right guard Trey Turner, who also is going to the Pro Bowl. The Panthers have 10 going to the game in Hawaii.
I can't wait to show you guys that replay of how fast they got that play off and got to the line of scrimmage. Tampa Bay was not set.
Cam Newton tying Steve Young, 31st game, with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. So Gano from 5 yards back, and the extra point is good, and it's now 24-3.
Here's that touchdown that I was talking about. You see them get up to the line of scrimmage right away, and they are fast to snap it. Right on second down, he gets rid of the ball, and right away, Patrick gets right behind both of the defenders, and look at the reaction.
He beat Werner and Tandy to Cotchery, and of course,
another lucky fan gets a souvenir.
Yeah, the way it's going, looks like everyone's going to get a football today. Cotchery with his 3rd touchdown catch of the game. Cam Newton, 14 of 18, tremendous completion percentage for him to start this game. And let's see what the Bucs can do. They have all 3 of their timeouts left, they can get back somewhat into this game. Bobby Rainey hopes he can run it out. The Bucs will start out at the 20. All right, halftime will be coming up shortly. So let's check in with Kurt and Terry.
All right, TB, let's try this again. It's really easy. Carolina, if they beat Tampa, #1 seed, home field advantage. If they lose, it opens the door for Arizona. Now, Arizona's already in the playoffs. The question is, who will they face?
Kurt, that's it. Well, we've already done this. We did this earlier on another halftime show. So why don't we just save it? Because I'm confused, and if I'm confused, my people are confused.
Well, the Steelers are not confused. They're going to be in the playoffs. Winston goes underneath, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Charles Sims. Luke Kuechly all over him, and now Kuechly getting a tongue lashing from one of the officials.
I'll tell you what.
What was he doing?
Obviously, he came up to wrap up, and the ball came out. But there is one thing I will say about Luke Kuechly. He is not a cheap football player. He wasn't taking a cheap shot. He's doing what all football players should do, finish plays.
He did not play in the earlier game in week 4. He was inactive with the concussion. 2nd down and 10 for Jameis Winston. And Winston tries to get rid of it, incomplete, trying to get it once again to Charles Sims. But Charles Johnson forcing him to get rid of the ball in a hurry. And that will bring up 3rd down and 10.
This is a time as a defense. You see how much time is left on the clock. It's a 3rd and long. You look out for a draw or a screen, something very conservative so that they don't take that risk of turning over the football.
They can't take that chance now, not the way the Panthers defense has been going. 3rd and 10. And here's the pass, and it is caught by Evans, and a 1st down. They have all 3 timeouts remaining, but have not called one as of yet.
I like the aggressiveness. Nice job, Dirk Cutter and Jameis Winston.
1st and 10 after the 26-yard gain, buying time, and off the hands of Evans. That is not really a drop the way that was thrown, but Tony Ely putting pressure that time on the quarterback, Jameis Winston. Stops the clock with 1:10 remaining. In the first half, it'll be 2nd down and 10.
That's the one thing about this Panthers defensive line is they heavy rotate their defensive line. Sometimes it looks like a hockey ship. There could be 4 guys coming in, 4 guys coming out.
As long as 5 guys don't come in. 2nd and 10. Winston going underneath, completing the pass to Sims. Sims will be about 3 yards short of the 1st down. And a timeout called by the Buccaneers. after a gain of 7. Well,
Timeout, Tampa Bay.
the Steelers
Their
clinched
first.
the playoff berth
Please
with the
reset.
Jets eliminated today. The Texans won their 3rd straight game to win the AFC South. And the Philadelphia Eagles beat the Giants in their first game after letting Chip Kelly go. Any thoughts on any of these games, David?
Well, I think it's interesting to see the way the Texans have been winning. It's been a Rolodex of quarterbacks, and for them to continue to get it done with backup quarterbacks, not only does it show their fight, but it also shows you that their strength is their defense as a team.
And that Giant-Eagle game, some emotions there perhaps.
Definitely some emotions there. Number one, you saw Eagles team come out with a lot of energy because they're going to be fighting for their jobs for whoever is going to be the head coach of that team.
3rd down and 3, 2 timeouts remaining for the Bucs. The ball is on the 47 of Carolina. Winston's pass caught by Safarian Jenkins, a first down, stops the clock with 58 seconds to go. They get 7 more yards, and they're just trying to peck their way in to at least try to get 3 before intermission. Luke Kuechly, 4 interceptions and 1 touchdown for a guy who's got to be considered for Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL. First down and incomplete to Adam Humphries. Second and 10, the ball is at the 40. Remember, Connor Barth, who has a field goal already today. Longest is 53 on the year. Second and 10. Jameis Winston completes the pass to Dante Dye. Gets hit hard, holds on to it. And the hurry-up Cortland Finnegan with the hit. A gain of 14. And now the Buccaneers will use a timeout here. They'll have 1 remaining, but they are in field goal range at the 26. Let's talk about the AFC playoff picture. And, of course, the Patriots losing to the Miami Dolphins. Cincinnati Bengals winning. There's the lineup there, the Broncos with the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs winning today, and you mentioned the Texans capturing it, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's the big story, really, moving into the playoffs as a wild card over the New York Jets.
Jets losing at Buffalo, giving Pittsburgh that berth. And I'll tell you what, the one thing when you look at this Pittsburgh team, offensively they put up numbers, but defensively is where they're susceptible to being taken over in the playoffs.
Now a first down at the 26, only 1 timeout left for the Bucs. Rolling out and throwing the ball away was Winston. He had no choice. Flag is down on the far side of the field at the 28.
It was a free play. Quan Short was offsides.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So that'll move the ball to the 21, and it'll be first down and 5 with 45 seconds on the clock.
Trying to get that jump on the count like he has all season. He has 4 games with 2 or more sacks. Only J.J. Watt has more with 5.
Reminder, coming up to Visa halftime. If you're Winston, do you take a shot maybe?
You have the 1 timeout left. You're in field goal range. Why not? They get the ball to start the second half.
As the Panthers have a deep safety at around the 5-yard line. First and 5 from the 40. And here is Winston going underneath, and it's caught by Charles Sims. And Sims does not get out of bounds. Luke Kuechly making the tackle. And the clock continues to run with under a half a minute to go. Pickup of 8. From the 13. First down. into the end zone, overthrowing Mike Evans, and coverage by Josh Norman. First time we mentioned his name tonight. Now 15 seconds to go. The 11th play of this drive coming up. It is only second down, but the clock is more important than the downs at this point.
Most certainly is. But you want to make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity to gain some confidence here going into the second half.
From the 13, second down and 10. Winston going underneath to Sims. Sims inside the 10. Sims will have a first down and goal with 7 seconds to go, and a timeout is called by the Buccaneers. 11-yard gain on a really nifty screen play to Charles Sims. It'll be first and goal with 7 seconds. A decision time, do you think, for Lovie Smith?
Great block by Logan Mankins, being able to get on Luke Kuechly out in the open field in that screen to spring Charles Sims on that big gain to get him inside.
And now Kuechly is going to be leaving the game, shaken up, running off on his own power.
Here's that replay. Logan Mankins, the left guard, is the one who's able to get out on Luke Kuechly. If he doesn't get out on this screen, Kuechly is stopping this one.
An injury timeout charged to Carolina, so that is their third and final timeout. And the Buccaneers just used their last timeout, so the ball it'll be first and goal at the 2. Kuechly on the sideline. Well, this is tenuous right now. You would think that they'll have to pass, and that seems to be the pattern on the lineup. Here's Winston, and it's thrown behind Safarian Jenkins, and now 4 seconds on the clock. You're down 24-3. You need momentum. You're going to get the ball in the third quarter to start the second half, and it looks like they're going for it here.
I do exactly what they're doing. Go for it. You're playing this game to win. You have nothing to lose. And if you look at that last play, Austin Safarian Jenkins throwing his hands up thinking he was going to get a pass interference call on Roman Harper, but it was within those 2 yards.
This could be the last play of the first half. The ball is at the 2. And here is Winston, lofts it, and Safarian Jenkins can't make the play as the time runs out. Thomas Davis on the coverage. The pass was not thrown in the end zone. They needed Safarian Jenkins to catch it and get in there to no avail. The Bucs threaten but don't score. And a little words going on between Norman and Evans. It's halftime. The score is 24-3 Carolina. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime report coming up after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Today's excitement is brought to you by Nissan. And that was today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. Score at halftime, the Panthers 24 and the Buccaneers 3. And I guess the big question is, Ron Rivera talked to us, you think this team has its swagger back?
I believe that this team does have their swagger back. They started off a little bit slow, but that takeaway by the defense completely flipped things around, and Cam Newton has a great game going, 14 of 18 right now, and he's done it with 8 different receivers, which is huge for them. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you talk about the loss of Jaworski Lane, they've got to get to running the football. Right now they only have 9 for 11 yards. If they don't run the football this second half, it's going to be a long day for Jameis Winston.
They had a chance to get a touchdown before intermission, and that was thwarted. And now they're going to get the ball first to start the second half. And talk about swagger, David. How about Josh Norman? You knew sooner or later he was going to get in the act, and here he was jawing with Mike Evans as they came off the field at the end of the half.
Well, you know he's not going to back down from confrontation. You saw it start at the end, that last play in the red zone, talking between the two of them. So this is a matchup we're going to have to see. But more importantly, both of these players need to be smart so that they don't get those personal fouls that can affect the outcome of this football game.
Norman was burned by Julio Jones to a big degree last week after his skirmish with Odell Beckham Jr. the week before that earned him a fine. So here's Bobby Ray to Christina Pink.
Well, a 21-point lead for the Panthers at the half. I asked Ron Rivera, with their lead, does he plan on changing any of the lineup for the second half? He said no. He said offensively that Mike Shula's calling a great game. That's how they've overcome some of the injuries on offense. He said they've done a great job of mixing up the run and the pass, and they're just running the ball well. Defensively, we saw Luke Kuechly come off the field at the end of the second quarter. I'm told he just tweaked his shoulder. He is probable to return. Lovie Smith concerned with the missed tackles, and he said they need more takeaways.
They need a lot of things right now to get back in this game, Christina, you're right, and it's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Play action, fake a handoff. Jameis Winston fakes a pass, and he carries it for the first time and picks up 5 yards. Take a look at our first half summary, and of course, you know the Panthers clinch home field advantage with a win. They have 24 unanswered points after Tampa Bay got the field goal. Newton, as David mentioned, 8 different receivers. And for the Bucs offense, they've only had the ball for 11 minutes versus 18 for Carolina. 2nd down and 5. Handoff to Doug Martin. Martin has not been able to get untracked in this game. Star Latulele making the tackle, and Martin with 1 yard has 10 carries and 11 yards.
And the one thing that the Tampa Bay offense likes to do early, they like to test the edges, but they have not had success with their tight ends matching up against the defensive ends of the Carolina Panthers.
3rd down and 4.
Showing blitz.
Here they come. And the pass dropped. Looked like catchable to Mike Evans, and Josh Norman defending him. So Evans, who had 2 receptions in the first half, and a flag is down.
Holding. Defense, number 24. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So Josh Norman guilty of holding, and that will extend the offense here for the Bucs.
Well, these two are going to be going at it this entire second half. Josh Norman is somebody who always matches up against that number 1 receiver of the other team. And they need a big second half out of Mike Evans to open up the running plays for their offense.
Remember, they don't have Vincent Jackson, the great veteran receiver. Handoff to Martin. Good cut upfield for Martin. But the second level by the Panthers are there.
Well, here was that last drive, the red zone defense. That ball was overthrown. You see, that's where the fighting between Josh Norman and Mike Evans started. That was the one play that had success, was the screen. There was the one to Austin Severian Jenkins, and then here was the nice defensive play by Thomas Davis Jr.
And that was at the very end of the first half. Meanwhile, Charles Tillman is shaken up. So Tillman, the other cornerback opposite Josh Norman, hurt, and we'll take a break.
This game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the all-new Fiat 500X crossover. By Pepsi. Go behind the scenes of the Pepsi Super Bowl 50 halftime show, only on Pepsi.com. And by Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK.
Back here at Bank of America Stadium, and that is Charles Tillman, who missed 4 games inactive with a knee injury. And he has 2 interceptions this year, both against the Giants. So he's out, replaced by Robert McClain, who's been the punt returner thus far. 2nd down and 8. Cortland Finnegan actually playing at that cornerback position. And here is Jameis Winston. And the pass is caught and going out of bounds is Doug Martin. He'll be shy of a first down by about 3 yards.
And here's that injury. You see that big brace on his right knee. And he's just chasing to the play. And you see him gallop, stop, and right there you see him hold on to that right leg. This is a guy in his 13th season in the NFL just fighting to get that Super Bowl ring.
Bobby Rainey is in the game at running back, and now Finnegan and McClain are both in. 5 defensive backs for the Panthers. On 3rd down and 4, make it 3rd and 3. And here's Winston. Flush from the pocket, and down he goes. Mario Addison with his 6th sack of the year. How about some of those defensive ends who don't start and don't play as much as some of the others, David?
Well, Coney Ely and Mario Addison both had 5 sacks coming into this game. But you see him, he's one-on-one against a rookie left tackle and Donovan Smith. They bring that pressure up front so that Smith can't get the chip outside. Gives up the inside pressure, and Mario Addison coming up with a big sack, forcing the turnover on downs and punt.
The top 3 defensive ends had only 1 sack in the last 5 games for the Panthers, but they've come alive here. Here is McLean, and McLean picks up a couple of yards to the 32, and that's where the Panthers, who are dominating on both sides of the ball, will be back. And another injured player. And we're back. Russell Shepard, as we saw, was the injured player. And again, Ron Rivera's team can get in as the #1 seed, but look at Arizona trailing Seattle 33-6. They're winning here 24-3. From the 32. And a keeper, and the pass, and the flag is down. Let's see if it was an illegal forward pass thrown by Newton.
That's when he's trying to do too much. Just tuck it away and run it.
Did his entire body cross the line of scrimmage before he let go of the ball.
Illegal forward pass. Offense. The quarterback was beyond the line of scrimmage and threw the ball forward. 5-yard penalty. Loss of down. 2nd down.
And a loss of down, so it'll be 2nd down and 10.
That was the Cam Newton of the pass. Trying to do too much. You have the open run, take it. Take the run, take the gain. But 2-3 years ago past, that's what we would see, and that's #1, where it would cause that confusion for them offensively, but #2, it would lead to costly mistakes for their offense.
First time he's done that tonight. 2nd down. Really 2nd down and 12. And Cam Newton falling down, and now all he wanted to do is protect the ball. So another loss back to the 24. Loss of 3 more. Well, the field conditions, a factor this week. They've had a lot of rain in this Charlotte area in the last couple of weeks. They had a bowl game as well, and they had to do some work here. Now, this field has been resodded twice during the course of this year, and you can just look at the field, and we've seen indications of that it is not totally conducive here. 3rd down and 18 from the 24-yard line. And we'll have a whistle penalty, and we'll have a delay of the game.
Delay of game. Offense, #1. 5-yard penalty.
Not a good offensive sequence for the Panthers. And let's go down to Christina.
Well, Dick, you talk about seeing some of the players slip on this field today. The Buccaneers players have been switching out their cleats a lot during this game. I talked to a couple of the players pregame who said they thought the field felt a little bit spongy, a little bit soft, but didn't think that it was too bad. As you mentioned, they've resodded twice this year. They only resodded midfield after the bowl game to replace the NFL shield. But as you've seen today, some slippage here.
Handoff to Tolbert. Mike Tolbert breaking a couple of tackles and carrying Henry Melton with him from a couple of yards, but it'll be 4th down and they'll have to kick, and they will resod this field before their playoff game in 2 weeks here.
And as an offensive lineman, it really doesn't affect you. Come in wearing the cleats that you're going to wear, but you see a heavy rotation by the skilled position players, the wide receivers, the defensive backs who have to plant, cut, do different things, multi-dimensional. So those cleats, you go to the longer cleats so that you can get that grip, so you're not falling down like Cam Newton did on that pass.
Brad Nordman will be punting, and Bobby Rainey is back deep in a 24-3 game. Good kick by Nordman. And Rainey at the 16, trapped. And down he goes, loose ball, picked up by Carolina, and it's Joe Webb, I believe. And Joe Webb will be tackled at the 2, and it'll be a 1st down. Well, we know he's a quarterback. We know he's a receiver. We know he can return kicks. But how about special teams there? Colin Jones forced it, and Joe Webb did the rest, first and goal.
Joe Webb is a football player. He does everything. He actually has 12 tackles on special teams, which are the second most by any Carolina Panther. And one of the greatest things that we saw is when we went out to watch practice, who was playing Mike Evans on the scout team? Joe Webb.
He has started at quarterback. Also played wide receiver with the Minnesota Vikings in 2013. He's had a kick return with Buffalo as well. So it's first and goal for the Panthers on the 3. Threatening to break open this game here. And here is the handoff to Tolbert. And Tolbert won't get in. He stopped at about a yard. More on Joe Webb. What a player he is. Let's go down to Christina Pink again.
As you guys have talked about, Joe Webb is a Mr. Versatility. He actually started 4 games throughout his career in the NFL, 3 at quarterback. He pointed out that playoff game with Minnesota, 1 at receiver. He told me that I am a quarterback at heart, but he certainly does love playing on special teams. He says sometimes guys take him lightly. They think he's a QB. He can't get out there and hit. They don't think he's physical, but he said they certainly get a little bit of trash talk, but he's certainly happy for this opportunity.
All right, Christina. Darrell Williams goes in as an extra offensive lineman. Quarterback sneak by Cam Newton. Touchdown, Panthers. Cam Newton with a second touchdown rushing in this game. And taking advantage of the muff. Going in for the touchdown. Bobby Rainey had his problems, and Carolina with a huge lead. I wouldn't be surprised if everyone gets a football, David, the way it's going.
This is the 13th game this season where this Carolina team has scored over 27 points. They only had 4 all of last season, and it starts with number 1, Cam Newton.
43rd rushing touchdown for Cam Newton. And now Graham Gano with the extra point. And the kick is good, and it's 31-3. Joe Webb, loose ball, never had possession. It's a muff. Leads to Cam Newton, who ties Steve Young for the most career rushing touchdowns by an NFL quarterback since the merger.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. Better matters.
Cam Newton, what a show he's putting on. And Colin Cowherd, on the NFL kickoff show said, the great players come back after tough losses and come back in a big way.
There's the second rushing touchdown of the day for Cam Newton, tying Steve Young for the most in NFL history since 1960. He's been putting up numbers upon numbers and breaking records since he started in the NFL.
The interesting thing about the Panthers, when they were 2-14, had the number 1 pick, and they wanted a quarterback. They thought it was going to be Andrew Luck. He went back to Stanford, and they ended up drafting Cam Newton instead. How did that work out? Here is Winston looking for anyone and goes out to Martin, and Martin carries it out after the catch to the 26-yard line. Well, watch every NFL playoff game live on your phone with NFL Mobile. Exciting playoffs coming up next week with the wild card games. Winston so far 14 of 27, 154 yards, and has thrown an interception. And the Panthers capitalized on that one. Here is Doug Martin. And Martin really hasn't gotten unleashed yet. He'll be about 1.5 yards shy of the first down, thanks to Coney Ely.
But this is the position that this Tampa Bay offense needs to be in. They need to be 3rd and shorts. They cannot be in 3rd and longs that allow this Panthers defense to have a Rolodex of blitzes and cause those one-on-one matchups to create sacks.
And they go to Martin, bursts it, Martin with a first down and more. And Martin, tough to bring down when he gets into the open field, gets into Carolina territory to the 41-yard line, where he's stopped finally by Robert McClain. A 29-yard gain. Finally getting unleashed is Doug Martin.
I said right away at halftime, they have to get Doug Martin involved in this football game. He only had 11 yards rushing in the first half. In order to keep this team balanced and get the play-action shots to take the pressure off of Winston, they have to get him rolling.
Gets a breather here, and Charles Sims bouncing off a defender, and Sims gets something out of nothing. McClain again on the play. And a pickup of 3 yards. You know, Martin gained 100 yards the first time these teams played. Only one of 2 backs to gain 100 against Carolina this year. Ahmad Jennings of the Giants was the other. 2nd and 7 on the 37. Winston on the screen to Charles Sims. Sims still 2 yards shy of the first down, and another good play by Robert McClain. Let's go down to the field to Christina Pink.
Well, Dick, Charles Tillman was clearly frustrated and a bit emotional when he came off the field. He has been ruled out with an injury to his right knee. He is icing it right now. It is the same knee that kept him out earlier in the season, but he is clearly frustrated. Greg Olsen came over and talked to him for a few minutes, but he will not return.
All right, played for Lovie Smith with the Bears. Here's Sims again, breaking it. Charles Sims, and guess what? Robert McClain with yet another tackle, but not before Sims gets 12 yards and a first down to the 21.
For most of you who don't know, that's Mush Muhammad. He was his teammate in Chicago, but also one of the Carolina great wide receivers.
Lovie Smith, of course, was in Chicago with the Bears, and Ron Rivera.
Can't say enough about Luke Kuechly as a football player, as a leader, and he is not one of those big vocal rah-rah guys. He says, I leave that to Thomas Davis, but if I need to say something, I step up and say it. And what does that do? When something comes out of his mouth, you know it comes from the heart and it means something.
And talking to us, he was so proud of Thomas Davis finally getting his first Pro Bowl deal.
Told him congratulations right away, right to Thomas Davis, and directed it to him, and you could see his facial expression, how excited he was for him.
2nd down and 14 from the 25. Winston gets time and completes it to Safarian Jenkins, and it'll be a 1st and goal coming up for Tampa Bay. Gain of 21 yards. They have the opening field goal to start the game, led 3-0 after a quarter, and 31 unanswered points since.
Well, we were just talking about Charles Tillman. He is the one that has been out hurt, and sure enough, they have Finnegan playing inside and they have McClain playing outside. You see the confusion, the double route combination. He bites on the inside one. Safarian Jenkins takes the out, and big completion.
Humphries is in motion. 1st and goal at the 4. Play action, and here is Winston, and Winston is being chased, and he will get in for the touchdown. Charles Johnson giving chase to no avail, and Jameis Winston runs it in for a touchdown. And the Buccaneers now can get to 31-10. Let's see if they go for 2 or 1 here, and they're going to go for the PAT.
He says, I see you, Cam Newton. I'm going to add 1 on my own for number 6 on the season.
6 rushing touchdowns, the most by a quarterback in a single season in team history. And here's Connor Barth, who has missed 1 point after this year. This is perfect. And a flag down at the
Outside defense, number 24, lined up in the neutral zone. The 5-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. The try is good.
So the penalty against Josh Norman will mark it off on the kickoff, and it's 31-10 after 31 straight points scored by Carolina. Here's the Tampa Bay scoring drive, and the big play was the 30-yard run by Doug Martin. He got 30 of those 48 rushing yards. Cam Newton getting ready to go back to work. 31-10 the score. Arizona Cardinals are getting trounced by the Seahawks, 36-6 at Arizona. Here's Joe Webb, who has made a key fumble recovery or muff recovery already. And It'll be taken out of the 20-yard line. We'll take a break right now. Carolina rolling, looking for the #1 seed for the first time in their history. Back here at Bank of America Stadium, Dick Stockton, David Deal, and Christina Pink. And if the Buccaneers want to make this game a little closer, this is a key series coming up. Starting from the 20.
Even janitor. Is that real? Oh, yeah.
Cam Newton gets some time, and they're going to have a flag as Olsen is tripped up by Bradley McDougald. And a pass interference call against Tampa Bay coming up.
Well, I love the sound that you're able to hear now in the stands because you hear Cam Newton switch to play to even janitor, and somebody goes, "Is that real?"
Pass interference. Defense, number 30. Spotted a foul. Automatic. First down.
Here's the flag right here. Greg Olsen making the inside move and completely grabbed up by Bradley McDougald. He was beaten, knew he was, so just reached out to take him down.
20-yard penalty.
Big play.
Yep, 20-yard penalty, David. You know, that's only the second penalty of the game against the Buccaneers, who've been plagued by them most of this season. And there's the flip to Cameron Artis-Payne. McDougald is there. And a pickup of about 7. Well, coming up, Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy wrap up the day's action and get you up to date on the playoff picture. America's #1 post-game show, The OT, presented by Lowe's, is coming up next here on Fox.
Now that's the pitch that Cam should have made.
Yes.
The one before, when he tried throwing it, he should have just tucked away and run with it. But that was a smart move of pitching it.
Gain of 6, 2nd and 4. Artis-Payne, and Payne getting the first down to midfield. 5-yard pickup.
I'm really impressed with his patience and his vision, letting the blocks get set up. You see him placing his hand on the tight ends and the offensive linemen, and the minute that crease opens up, he's getting right downhill with no wasted motion.
Telling us the other day that the mutual trust among the group has been a big factor in how it's all gone. Here is Artis-Payne. Payne picking up about 3.
And it all starts with this offensive line. You know, I spoke about it early in this game. Last year they had 8 different line combinations, but this season, number 2 in rushing, coming in with 144 yards a game. They only gave up 29 sacks, which coming into this game, which was 9th in the NFL. They've done a great job, and a lot of credit goes to Dave Gettleman, the GM.
And this pass, and Artis-Payne makes a good grab of a low toss. Josh Keys, the linebacker who would replace the injured Danny Lansana, missed the tackle, and the Panthers end up with 6. So it'll be 2nd and short coming up in Tampa Bay territory.
And right now they haven't fixed what Lovie Smith told Christina Pink at halftime is the missed tackles. Coming into this game, 3rd most with 96. You've got to be able to get defenders that can tackle in the open field.
You can see the disappointment and disgust on the face of Lovie Smith. 3rd down and 2. And they're going to give it to the quarterback. He won't give it to anyone. He gets the first down. What a valuable thing. You mentioned that earlier, when you have to worry about a guy like Cam Newton who has size and can use his legs.
Well, blocking for Eli Manning for 10 seasons, nobody was scared of him running the football. But when you're facing up a Cam Newton, you have to respect and honor his legs. Your defensive ends, yeah, they want to be aggressive rushing the passer, but at the same time, you've got to keep him in the well where he can only step up and not use his legs to take it outside and run.
4-yard gain, first down to the Bucs 38. And Cam Newton completes the pass to Brenton Burson. Burson gets inside the 20-yard line, and loose ball on the field and a fumble, and the Buccaneers recover.
The field is a catch and a fumble.
So Burson made the catch, was running, and the ball was knocked away and recovered by Levante David,
which would be his 2nd fumble recovered today. There it is, coming with the hammer. Levante David caused it and recovered it all himself. You see at the last minute, trying to put the ball away for Burson, but he isn't able to do it. Levante David coming and striking right down and creating the takeaway that they needed defensively.
Luke Kuechly talking about Levante David, how he deserved Pro Bowl honors a couple of years ago. 1st and 10. Here's the pitch to Doug Martin, and you can see Martin slipped on the turf. He could not get traction and will lose yardage. Shaq Thompson, the #1 draft pick out of the University of Washington, and a loss of 2 yards. To mention Dave Gettleman, and you always want to strike it rich with your #1 pick, but when you have a Cameron Artis-Payne, a 5th-round pick out of Auburn, that's where you're really doing your job. So now it'll be 2nd down and 12, back on the 19 for Jameis Winston. And Winston gets it out to Doug Martin, but the Panthers are there, and it'll be 3rd down and long. That time it was Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly, 2 guys heading to the Pro Bowl. And you talked about the Panthers offensive line, where they're going to have Khalil and Turner also going to the Pro Bowl. And we have under a half a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 8. Both teams have been solid in converting 3rd downs tonight. And Winston's pass, and it is caught by Mike Evans. And that will end the quarter. A 14-yard pass, and that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: the Panthers 31 and the Bucs 10. Quarter here at Bank of America Stadium in Charlotte. Dick Stockton along with David Deal and Christina Pink. The Panthers leading 31-10. They clinch home field advantage. And the #1 seed with the winner a tie, or a Cardinal loss and a tie, and they're in the 4th quarter in Glendale, with Arizona getting spanked 36-6. It'll be a 1st and 10 on the 38 of Tampa Bay. Kevin Pamphile, the extra offensive lineman in the game. Play action, and here's the drill pass, and it is caught by Evans, and Evans, protecting the ball, gets to the 32-yard line. And another big gain, a 30-yarder after ending the 3rd quarter on a good pass.
I want to go back to that 3rd down conversion, because they ran the same blitz the Bucs did earlier. Linebacker Trey Boston adds on. Doug Martin, offensive line, picks it up, and what do? They kill the blitz. Trey Boston is actually the one who was supposed to cover Mike Evans, opens things up, and they were able to make a big conversion on 3rd down.
And 2 passes to Evans in succession for 45 yards. And a 1st down on the 32 of Carolina. Up the middle, and intended for Austin Seferian-Jenkins, the tight end, incomplete. Luke Kuechly was coming in and making it difficult for Winston on that one.
I love what I'm seeing out of Jameis Winston, because what is he? He is a football player who is a fighter and competitive. This score may be out of hand, but he is doing everything he possibly can as a quarterback to get this offense rolling and to make plays and continue to put points on the board.
They have a franchise quarterback. 2nd down and 10. Here's Doug Martin. Head down, gets inside the 30, where Luke Kuechly is there to make the tackle. Buccaneers coming in with a 3-game losing streak. At one point, they were 6-6 after beating the Falcons for the 2nd time. But they've lost to the Saints, the Rams, and the Bears, 2 of those games at home. And Lovie Smith said, it's not knocking out the #1 seed in Carolina. It's winning against the division champions and making a big step forward. But he's on the short end now. 3rd down and 6. Intercepted. Picked off by Robert McClain. And the 3rd turnover for the Carolina Panthers, giving him 39 takeaways on the season. And the Panthers showing why they won that first 14 games before losing last week. Looks like they're back to form.
Like I said earlier in this game, this team lives and dies by taking the football away. last week against the Falcons was one of only 2 games this season where they only had 1 takeaway. All the others were 2+, and you see it. Jameis Winston staring it down. You see Cameron Brate fall. A nice clean break on the football by Robert McClain, and another crucial takeaway for this defense.
And you know, every coach preaches takeaways, but in talking to Luke Kuechly, his eyes widened. He said, for us, it's exciting to get the ball away. First down on the Carolina 43. Hand off to Cameron Artis-Payne. 7th game for Payne, but this is his first NFL start. And a penalty again.
Illegal shift. Offense, number 10. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So that'll nullify a 7-yard gain.
And like I said, this team living and dying by taking the football away. How about there's a little Red Hot Chili Peppers reference. Take it away now. Takeaways 39, first in the NFL. Turnover margin +20, first in the NFL. But the biggest one, look at the points. They passed Arizona today, 141 points, all off of takeaways.
That's championship numbers for you in that very important area. First down and 15. And in stride, the pass caught by Devin Funchess. Right near the first down marker into Tampa Bay territory. About a 14-yard pickup there. So quickly going to the air after the turnover is Cam Newton. How about his percentage today? 17 of 21 for 247 yards and a touchdown. He's rushed for 2 scores. It'll be 2nd and 1.
And he's been controlling the entire game at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely. They're breathing a sigh of relief here in Carolina. Artis-Payne, and that'll be enough for the first down. So again, the running game, and how about the consistent passing game today for Cam Newton?
And he's been spreading it around to each and every receiver, and you were wondering how they would be able to bounce back without having Ted Ginn Jr. in this game, who has 10 touchdowns on the season, most out of the entire group, and he sure has, and it's been the leadership of Cam Newton and the calls by Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator.
There's been mentioned 8 different receivers have caught passes from Newton. This is going to be Artis-Payne. Gets to the 45-yard line. Ron Rivera, who told us on Friday that the home field edge is huge to him, and he says it was evident in that 12-4 2013 season. This was a guy who came in the same time that Cam Newton came in.
Well, they've had 10 consecutive wins at home, which are the most in the NFL.
2nd down and 8. Newton, and another slant to Devin Funchess, and yet another first down inside the 35, and a gain of 9.
And Cam Newton is delivering that ball even before Funchess is out of his break. I said this is something that the Tampa Bay defensive backs and corners have struggled on all season, are those inside slants, and Cam Newton's getting that ball out of his hand fast, and Funchess is having a huge day.
And starting in place of Ted Ginn Jr. out with a knee injury, who had 10 touchdown passes himself, so Funchess more than picking up the slack for Ginn's absence. First down at the 33. And out of bounds was Corey Brown at the time. That'll be an incomplete pass. And you got to remember, David, this is a team that lost their best wide receiver, Kelvin Benjamin, in preseason, and everyone said, well, that's it for the chances of the Panthers.
Once again, give credit to Dave Gettleman where credit is due. His ability not only to help restructure the defensive line, the offensive line, but his belief in the skill position players that he has chosen, because all season they've had injuries. The next man to step up has delivered each and every time.
2nd down and 10 now at the 33. Artis Payne. Stopped by Josh Tease. Remember the NFC South? Nobody could win back-to-back division titles every year. No one was able to win back-to-back titles, and now the Panthers have won 3 consecutive division championships. And you got to go back to 2012. They won their last 4 games to finish at 7-9, and that was a springboard to the 2013 season when they were 12-4 that year as well. Once again, underscoring your opinion about getting wins late. 3rd and 12. Newton gets it out to Brown. Brown gets the first down, still on his feet, and goes down and loses the ball at the 15. It is picked up by Levante David, but let's see if Brown was down by contact before he lost the ball.
The ruling on the field is that the runner was down by contact. First down, Carolina.
I want you to watch 3 players. Watch the right guard, the right tackle, and Greg Olsen. Getting downfield, making blocks, and springing Philly Brown on a big play.
And they're going to challenge this. Lovie Smith will challenge the call on the field that the runner or the receiver, Corey Brown, was down by
Tampa
contact.
Bay is challenging the rule of the field of down by contact.
Buccaneers have won a challenge already, and we'll be back to find out if Lovie Smith can win another.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chevrolet. Find new roads. By Domino's. Order online and track your order. And by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL.
The Buccaneers are challenging the ruling on the field that the receiver, Corey Brown, was down by contact.
It's interesting, almost every single challenge of this football game has involved one player. Philly Brown.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field stands. Tampa Bay is charged its first time out, and they have no more challenges for the remainder of the game.
It was close when we took a look at the replay during the timeout, but not enough to turn it over apparently.
There's the knee, trying to see which one hits first. It's so close, but it's easy to see when you run it at slow motion like this, but when it's real time fast, it was very tough, and call stands.
Corey Brown, the replay man. That's what they're going to call him soon. As you're right, he's been involved in the 3 challenges we've had. Meanwhile, it'll be 1st and 10 at the 15. 20-yard play, and here's the pitch to Artis Payne off the right side. And losing his helmet and making the play was Mike Jenkins. No gain. Carolina Panthers, their problem, as you pointed out lately, it was the pass rush off of the edge. They've given up 30 points in 2 of their last 4 games, back to the defense that we've known. And the offense scoring 31. And moving here, 2nd down and 10.
Lightning. Ready.
And the pass caught by Ed Dixon. Dave Gettleman, you've been talking about him. He came from the Giants organization, and according to everyone in the organization, he is the ideal general manager for this team.
I absolutely love this man. For 10 straight years as a New York Giant, I had coffee with him every morning at 5:45 a.m. He is a grinder. He is a talent evaluator of football players. And yeah, you look at the skill position guys like the Cameron Artis Payne, the Kelvin Benjamins, the Quan Shorts at defensive tackle. But who are the players who've stepped up? Jericho Cotchery, Michael Orr, the people that
How about Devin Funchess, who scored the touchdown here? Add him to your list. "16-yard strike. And for Cam Newton, 2 touchdown passes and 2 running touchdowns.
And another lucky fan gets a souvenir.
And this is turning into a coronation here at Bank of America Stadium for the Carolina Panthers, who are up 37-10.
But if I were the Carolina Panthers, I would say that is Cam Newton's last celebration. I would take him out of the football game right now.
I don't even think you have to know about what the Arizona Cardinals are doing, and they're getting beaten badly. Graham Gano with the point after touchdown, 38-10. The celebration continues. He's been a busy man tonight, and rightfully so, has Cam Newton. 11-year veteran Derek Anderson, and David, you were right. He'll be coming on at quarterback. Cam Newton has done his job in a huge way. There is the scoring drive as the Panthers, with 21 points off of 3 takeaways, a 10-play, 57-yard drive with Funchess on the receiving end of a 16-yard play. Dante Dye downs it in the end zone, and the Bucs will take it out of the 20. They've done this a lot tonight. The Panthers, down 3-0, have exploded from that point on.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Sign up now.
And we are back in Charlotte, and the night is over for Cam Newton. A job well done. His team has scored 40 points twice this year. 38 back-to-back games, and now 38 in this one, as Jameis Winston completes it to Doug Martin, and a first down out to the 32-yard line, picking up 12 yards. Well, the Big East has 4 teams ranked in the top 16, including 16th ranked Villanova, which takes on Seton Hall, and number 6 Xavier, who goes up against St. John's. It's a Big East basketball doubleheader Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on your home for Big East Hoops FS1. Timeout called by Carolina. Ron Rivera, already been Coach of the Year once, and a long candidate again.
Well, Dick Stockton, every game we've given over the done deal award for the player of the game. And I think it's pretty unanimous. I think that they've already given away who's going to win it today.
I don't think there's any doubt. And the Star rebounded from a tough game last week against Atlanta. Meanwhile, Jameis Winston dumps it off to Charles Sims. Sims will have a first down before going out of bounds at the 45, picking up 13 yards. 10 Pro Bowlers on this Carolina Panther team. But how about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? You know, we have to have a few kudos for them. They were 6-6, and that's as many games as they won the previous 2 years. They were 2-14 last year. Lovie Smith's first year. They made great strides, and they're going to be heard from. First down and 10 at the 45. Flag down. Winston incomplete to Evans. Holding against Tampa Bay.
Donovan Smith.
Holding. Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Replay. First down.
This isn't the way Lovie Smith wanted to end this season, with 4 straight losses, but they've got a good young team and a good general manager. You've talked about Gettleman here.
Jason Light deserves a lot of credit. Their due diligence on making sure that they had all the background on Jameis Winston. A lot of people said that they shouldn't choose him. They believed in him, and they've turned it out to have a franchise quarterback that will lead this team to big things next season.
And they've got to sign Doug Martin. That's the issue here, and they've already started contract talks with Martin. They swing it out to Charles Sims, and Sims holds onto it, but hit hard by Shaq Thompson, and there is Jason Light on the sideline. Keegan
Off number 76.
And another holding penalty.
That penalty is declined. Second down.
And the penalty is declined.
It's a tough position to be in if you're offensive lineman. It's one-on-one pass rush every single play, and that's back-to-back holding calls by Donovan Smith. But you have to give a lot of credit to Jason Licht. Like you said, I said stuff earlier about Dave Gettleman for the Panthers, but Jason Licht has turned this football team into a relevant football team, getting Lovie Smith as the head coach, and they're 5 or 6 players away from being a contending Super Bowl football team. But they've got to get a rush end. They need help on the back end defensively.
This has got to be the future, I guess, of the NFC South. And there's Sims with a great juke move. And he brings it out to the 48-yard line. Coney Ely on the tackle. When you've got a Jameis Winston to build with, along with Cam Newton in Carolina, you can sense the big rivalry coming up in the few years to come.
You can absolutely bet that these two will be rivaling each other for a long time.
5:40 remaining in the game, 38-10. Carolina Panthers will be the 7th NFL team to win 15 games in the regular season. Wrapping up the number 1 seed. And here's Winston. Tipped, incomplete, and off the hands of Shaq Thompson. Bring you up to date, Seattle beating Arizona 36-6 in the waning stages of the game there, and you know that Bruce Arians took his players out as well.
Prior to the contact. 4th down.
It'll be 4th down. 4th and 8. Panthers want that crowd to be at full throat here. Winston's pass, and it is caught, and it'll be another first down. This to Cameron Brate, first reception of the game for Brate, who's looked good in the latter stages of this season.
He really has, and this is another player that Jason Licht and this staff believed in. He got his opportunity and made the most of it.
At the 42 of Carolina. Winston can't get away. Midfield from Kyle Love. Loss of 8 yards. And that is the 5th sack of the game for the Panthers.
See him right here at the 3 technique, working that inside move, fighting through. Jameis Winston holding on to the football, having to step up because of the good coverage on the back end.
Second down. Sims. Winding down to 4 minutes remaining after the 4-yard gain. Jameis Winston has completed 24 of 40 attempts, 277 yards, but 2 interceptions.
But if you're a Carolina Panthers fan, you have to be excited by the production offensively and defensively by your football team. The defense creating the takeaways to get the confidence going into the second part of this and into the playoffs.
He needs 6 yards here, and he's got it for a big milestone. Safarian Jenkins out of bounds, and Jameis Winston has now joined Cam Newton and Andrew Luck as the only NFL rookie quarterbacks to throw for 4,000 yards.
Once again, credit to Jason Licht and his staff, but also to Jameis Winston. He's one of the QB prospects coming into the NFL that was the most NFL ready.
First down, and Winston going up top to the end zone and nearly intercepted by Josh Norman off his hands. It was at the back of the end zone. Not sure if he had caught it, whether it would have been a pick. Buccaneer drive, the 11th coming up, but yep, if he had held on, would have been a tough catch too.
Definitely would have been a tough catch, but we've seen him come up with those.
Carolina has clinched the number 1 seed. Not that that's a surprise here, because the Seahawks have crushed the Cardinals 36-6. Going underneath to Doug Martin to the 20-yard line. And 3 minutes remaining in the game.
Ben Jacobs on the tackle. He's in there for Luke Kuechly. Thomas Davis, Kuechly, both out of the game right now, watching from the sidelines.
Panthers will be home for all of the playoff games they'll have to play. The 2 in the NFC, hoping to get to the Super Bowl for the second time. That's a long way off as Dante Dye on the reception. Winston again. Says, I'll take it. Slides to the 10. And we're winding down to the 2-minute warning. Derek Anderson has been warming up. Of course, the veteran will come in, overthrown into the end zone. And the 2-minute warning, but a flag has been thrown in the end zone, and now a second marker goes down. And it's Evans that has to be separated from the officials by Martin, and he may have been ejected. He has been. Mike Evans ejected from the game. Frustration setting in big time here. Roman Harper was battling him.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 13 for disrespectfully addressing an official. Unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 13 for disrespectfully addressing an official. And number 13 is disqualified from the contest.
And leaving the field is Mike Evans. 4 catches, 99 yards, and here it was. Norman was out of the picture there, and those two got on it, remember, toward the end of the first half as well. It's celebration time for the Carolina Panthers. 2-minute warning. The Carolina Panthers leading 38-10. And Cam Newton, it's picture time, has thrown 2 touchdown passes, has rushed for 2, and the Panthers back to what they were before the loss to Atlanta as they converted 3 turnovers to 21 points. And now Carolina 15-1, Arizona losing the 2nd seed. Green Bay and Minnesota will play later for the 3rd seed, and that's the playoff picture to this point, David Deal.
And what did they do today? They earned the right to have the top seed and to get home field advantage throughout.
First time they have been the top seed. Remember last year they won the last 4 games to finish 7-8-1. A losing team goes to the playoffs. They won a playoff game before losing, but now they're going to finish 15-1 as Charles Sims out of the backfield is tackled at the 37. So the Panthers breathe a sigh of relief. They were down with 3-0 after the first quarter and just exploded and never looked back. Cam Newton, how many different celebration dances and runs and exhibitions has he shown tonight, huh? Countless. 4th down and 32. Pass to Charles Sims. And Jameis Winston will complete the season throwing every pass thrown by a Buccaneer quarterback this year. A great rookie year, but it's Carolina's night.
And here we are, the Done Deal Award, player of the game, unanimously Cam Newton. Today, 21-26, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns rushing, and he showed why he is the top candidate for NFL MVP.
No question about it. He threw to 8 different receivers. Devin Funchess, the rookie, starting. 7 catches for 120 yards today. And how about this? They gained over 100 yards rushing for the 27th consecutive game, and they did it without Jonathan Stewart sitting out his third game.
A lot of credit to Mike Tolbert today and Cameron Artis-Payne, the way that they controlled things, but it all started up front with this offensive line.
And Ron Rivera, who was Coach of the Year in 2013 after leading the Panthers to a 12-4 year, said the swagger was missing last week. Well, that guy never lost his swagger, Josh Norman. We got the OT coming up next. Coronation time in Carolina as the Panthers defeat the Buccaneers 38-10 to finish 15-1, and the Buccaneers end up 6-10 on the year. They're dancing here, and they'll be dancing in the streets in Charlotte as well. So for David Deal and Christina Pink, Dick Stockton saying so long from Charlotte. Coming up after this break, we'll take you to Kurt Menefee and the boys in Los Angeles for the OT presented by Lowe's.